This is the video that everyone's been asking me about in the comments of my YouTube videos and on Facebook. It's about onboard air to be fitted to your cup holder area on a Y62 Patrol. And what is air control for a Y62? Let me tell you, because we fit airbags to many Y62 Patrols. It's basically a must if you've got independent rear suspension, and you've got to pump those airbags up somehow. So are you going to go to the servo, get your air hose, pump it up, then hook your caravan on, or take your caravan to the servo? No, you have an onboard air compressor mounted to your vehicle somewhere. But then you've got to get the hose out, take it around, find the valves. They're probably down low in the mud on the bottom of your rear bar. We don't want to do that either. So I guess the premium solution is for onboard air to be set up like this. Little air compressor switch on your dash. Where the cup holder is, you have this little gauge and you can air up or down at the convenience of a button. And this is what you need for the system. So for a TI, for example, we can put a twin compressor in the rear quarter with this on-track bracket, all the airbag system stuff we've got here, and of course this little Airbagman gauge, the buttons, and our little proprietary bracket, which fits perfectly into the cup holder area. Alright, now to take you out where the real magic happens. Through that door, I'll introduce you to Carl, because he's the man when it comes to onboard air and everything electrical for a Y62. Let's go meet him. Where is he? Oh, there he is.
Hey guys, how are you?
Alright, so this is the man. He does all the best work electrical on Y62s. So we're going to get the best info possible here. We'll pull these drawers out and I'll show you where everything goes. Right, so here's all the bits we've got. There's actually quite a bit of stuff that needs to go into the car for an air control system. But the idea is, if we want this to look factory, it all has to be hidden somewhere. So we've got the compressor, we've got a nice gauge, we've got to make that look factory. This is the manifold that goes in, that controls all the airbags. We've got this clever little plate. So the idea here is we can mount this plate into the factory position on a TI. This only works on a TI, not TILs, because there's a Bose subwoofer in there. Then from there we can mount the compressor to that plate, the manifold to that plate. The tricky bit though is getting this off. This panel has got, I swear, 20 clips, and if you do it wrong they break. So we'll go through and have a look at this, how not to break this panel when we remove it. Alright, there is a whole heap of clips we've got to worry about. So you need one of these, trim tool. That's the cheap and nasty one. These are the ones I like. Whoa, look at them. So it's so easy to bust these clips and there's so many of them. Be really careful this bit. Didn't break a single clip.
Ain't for us though.
Hey, they're all still there. Alright. Look at the space that you've got in here. And I talk about this all the time, and who knows when, but one day, yes, we're going to do something with that vent one day. While it's all still getting pulled apart back there, I'm going to show you this little bracket we've got made up. I reckon it's pretty cool. So this is designed specifically for the air control. You could use other ones if you want to. We actually have a flat plate which you can use any gauge, or there's this one which fits perfectly into the cup holder area. And then we have the switches up and down here. Alright, here's what I was talking about. Pull that part out. There's our little proprietary bracket that will go in here. That clicks in like so. Then the gauge will fit in like this, and obviously we'll put the switches here for the airbags left and right going up. Now, the switch that comes with the compressor is this one, and ARB make great compressors but hideous switches. There's no way I'm going to put that in the dash. That looks awful, and I think they light up blue as well. All the rest of the dash lights up orange, so we're going to have one of these in, and that will fit in that, probably on that side, that factory location, and by the time that's in, it'll look factory, and it's backlit orange. So this is a compressor mounted to that plate, but to get to the manifold to go on there, we need to drill a couple of holes, and that's what we've done here. Give it a blow, Carl.
Watch your eyes, my friend. What we got here? 1, 2, 3. We got that one.
So with this plate that fits into the rear quarter, we can pick up all of the same factory location, so you don't have to drill any holes in the car. It's just bolt straight in. Alright, massive roll of wire here. This is going to go to the switches, but it needs to connect down to the manifold down the bottom here. So it's one of these cut and solder sort of gadgets. So I guess the reason why we can do this pretty quick, we've got some pretty specialised tools, wire strippers, just easy, where's the soldering iron gone?
On the table behind us.
Lithium soldering iron, just to make stuff easy. Just a few little tricks in here that, yeah, that's when we get to the big cables. We'll talk about that, because, where are they? This is the loom that comes with the ARB compressor, and this sort of plugs in down there onto the compressor. And the only problem is, this is the fuses, and it's not far enough to make it all the way to the battery. Like, fair enough, this has got a dual battery, we could connect it to that, but it will draw up to 80 amps. The last thing we want to do is drain the auxiliary battery and not be able to get cold beer, but just because we've pumped our tyres up. So what we do, we'll cut these plugs off about there, relocate them to the engine bay, and then run a whole new loom basically from the compressor all the way back. This is where we're up to. Alright, that's all wired up. Almost blinked and Carl did it and it was done. So this is where you can cable tie to all the way through. I'll go around the other side so you see that part too. So we want to go down the passenger side. Down through here, you'll find the ARB wiring runs out about here, so you have to cut and solder that to a staggered joint, and then on the inside of the carpet, all through up here, up to the front. So we still haven't done the fuse bit, but that will go through the firewall, and we'll do that at the battery. Alright, so that's it wired up to the battery now. So these are the two fuses that we relocated here. So if something ever does happen with the fuses blowing, which it shouldn't, that's where it'll end up being replaced here. Alright, we're up the messy end now. And this is the difference between a good installer and me installing it. You're not supposed to laugh.
I'm not going to re-edit that one.
Everything's in. So there's a lot at the back. It looked very clean. but all those open-ended wires are up here, and I'll show you what we're talking about. There's stuff everywhere. Right, what do we got here, Carl?
Well, basically we've got the illumination wires from the compressor, we've got the accessories wires from the compressor. These are the switching wires that will be adapting to our ARB, or sorry, not our ARB, but our compressor switch here.
Yep.
Then we've got our lines, our pressure lines here, which is the left and right, which will actually give you your digital to read out on the gauge. And they're basically,
What do we miss? These ones, what do they do?
They are for air lockers, so they are for different solenoids, which are not used for your applications here.
No, we'll be
so
right
we just take them back and don't worry about them like so.
So, when this is all done, all you'll see is the buttons and the gauge, and that's it. Everything is going to be all tied up underneath and look nice and tidy. So this is what the back of this gauge looks like. Once everything's soldered in, essentially the plugs are just like plug and play once you've soldered it in. So I think it's something like the right and left airbag go in here, then there's a main one for your power and illumination, and that's kind of it, and you just slot it in. This little bracket, see it's got a hole in the bottom? We're going to fix that to the bottom of the cup holder. So there's going to be a little riv nut put in there, and I'll show you how we like scribe it out, mark out where the hole goes.
Basically we just pop that in there, grab yourself a scribe or a long skinny screwdriver, go in through the opening here. And hey presto, this one comes pre-drilled.
Have a look at that.
Alright, so there'll be a rib nut, just go in the other side there. So you've got to pull it apart to do it. And then there'll be a bolt that you put through, and that's how it's fixed in. So it means if you have to get back in there again, just pull that center console to that.
Right, that's the install done, and I'm going to show you the outcome in just a moment. We're airing down the 37s on Charlie's car just here because we're going to have a race, an air compressor race, between this car that we just built and my car over here. It's going to be a bit of a drag race, and I'll tell you why. That's going to be bonus material at the end of this video. Not a bad time actually. If you've made it this far in the vid and you haven't subscribed yet, would you mind just pressing pause, going out of the video, and if you like watching this sort of stuff, just like hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, press the like button too, that does good things with the video. But now we're going to get back into the content, and I'm going to show you what this all looks like. It's all back together, and we've got the Clearview Spider. I'm going to show you that in a minute, but here we are, all installed. And this is what a nice, neat install should look like. Compressor switch, backlit orange, looks factory. I really like how that works out. Put the lights on so you can see it. There we go. And we'll press the button to start it all up. Compressor off. When accessories go on, this is how it is here. I'll shut the door. Ugh. Oh, we hate that beeping. So if we want to operate this system now, compressor on, comes up to pressure, and then we can air up. Or down individually if need be. So you've got a rooftop tent, you want to park on a lean, this is how you do it. So simple. If you want to adjust pressures like 1 psi at a time to get it perfect, and I must admit, since I've had this system, I've got a little bit particular in getting it exactly how I want it. If you're going to pump your fuel from the back tank, like if you've got a long range tank, to the front tank, you could drop both of these down to, I don't know, 5 psi or something like that, and you can do it on the fly. that's why this is so good. You don't have to stop the car and muck around and do anything, and it means you're going to have even tyre wear because the back of your car is going to stay the same height. Let's move around to the back of the car, and this is what's going on here. So all of that compressor and everything is back behind this rear quarter. You wouldn't even know it was there unless someone told you, and all the drawers are all in back together. This particular customer wanted to save some weight, so we've left the drawer out of this side. That's never going to go back again, and we've put the air outlet just here. Gee, that had some pressure. The way this customer's going to pump up his tyres too, he's got one of these Clearview Spiders, which I'm very interested to know about. So essentially we can plug that in, plug that in here, and then it will pump up. See the gauge pumping up, the tank. Gee, she holds some pressure. Look at it go. Holy shamoly. Where's it going to stop? 155 must be the pressure cut out with the compressor. And then you get like a bunch of hoses with this system. They go in here, and you can go and pump up all 4 tyres at once, or let them down all 4 tyres at once with the valve there. We're not here to talk about that system. I just thought you'd be interested in it, so I thought I'd show you. But that's how it all ended up. Alright, just for reference, I've just showed you that system. There's no shenanigans. This is just a normal start battery. The car's, I don't know, 10,000 k's old or something like that. And then we'll go over to my car. I'll show you my setup. Hang on. And this is my system. This is one of the first systems. I'm going to change it to match what we've just done today. But back in the early days, this is the way we did it. We put the compressor, well, mine's in a TIL, so it's hiding under here. And we do it all at the back of the car. But that's actually really not useful because my daughter usually sits in here and I have to kick her out to air up, and then I've got to put the hose through the window. So we're going to redesign this later on. But that's the system.
Then a hot shot.
Right, this will be my assistant for today, Jason. If you've been on the phone to us at Dash Off Road, you've probably got Jason. And so what you're going to do, Jason, is when I say, I'm going to put the cable tie on this one to pump this side up, you're going to go the other side and pump that one up, and we're going to have a drag race. Which car can pump up Charlie's tyres faster? And slightly annoyingly, I went to hop inside Charlie's car so we could look at the dash at the tyres going up and down, and he hasn't put his TPMS sensors in the big tyres. So we can't do it that way. We're going to have to use the ARB gauge like the old school way. Just for reference, so I want to make this as rigid as possible. This is the pressure we've got on this side coming from my car. It's about flicking between 13.5 and 14. On the other side we've got a solid 13.5. Alright, so now we're going to start this car, and we're going to synchronise our pumping. That sounds bad. Right, on your marks. Ready, set, pump.
Doesn't tell me what's going in.
No, they don't. Not until you stop. Alright, because we're using the ARB gauge, like it just says 0 until you stop pumping, but we want to go hard. So we'll kind of eyeball it. I reckon we'll go for, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah, about a minute.
Something like that, and we'll see what we're at. Okay, so yep, we're pumping. Okay, we'll just watch the timer now. Alright, that's a minute. What does that feel like?
Yeah, probably
Looks like quick, keep going.
26, 31.
Alright, 26. Alright, so we'll go to a minute and a half and stop, yeah?
Roger. Minute and a half, and we'll see what pressures we get.
So yell out when you're at a minute and a half. No cut, no edits. We're right into it.
10, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Alright, we are at 32.
32.
Are you at 32 as well?
32.
That's exactly the same.
Really?
But there is one kicker, because I did have something up my sleeve for this. that car's been running. My car's not running. Mine's off. So it's pumped up that tyre exactly the same without the car running. I still reckon it should have been quicker though. Alright, well there you go. I thought the difference was going to be more because just subjectively airing up on the tracks with everyone. I know the big questions are going to be, but if I did 4 tyres, would it still work that way? I reckon it would, but it's just going to have to be for another video. And I bet there's going to be heaps of other people pulling this apart. But thank you for watching. Here's another 4x4 DNA YouTube video. I'm going to do more of these. So, see you next time on YouTube. Yeah.